I'm actually very happy and very proud to show you this case. And I'm sure it's going to provoke some mixed feelings in you because I'm going to tell you about how mining is supporting sustainability and how mining is helping that environment would be better, people would be happier, municipalities would do better work. I'm coming from Denkstatt. Denkstatt is a consulting company working in several countries, and our mission is to accelerate the transition to sustainable economy. It's interesting that in Bulgaria we have a problem, if I can say so, that some companies still think that we are NGO, although that we are a company. So we're really value-driven to all the activities we do. So we're here, and I want now to tell you about a case, a gold mine. To be or not to be? How many of you feel, how to say, thinks that mining is a nice business? Only me and another one. This is a good start. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story of a very small village about probably 3,000 citizens. It is situated like not far away from the capital, 50 kilometers away from there. And still, if you go there, you will see that nothing has changed for the last 20 years. Or maybe everything has become worse. No businesses, no schools, only one kindergarten. All of the people are going into their cars in the morning, going to Pernik or Sofia, because they don't have jobs. The average salary there is less than 150 euro. Beautiful wife. So, you know that Bulgaria and Romania are pretty similar. I'm not going to tell you what we have as natural resources, but I think that at least here we're on the same opinion that the production is really huge driving force for providing economic value, for economical development. Am I right? Come on, if we don't produce, sorry, services will help, but without production, then we don't have real value. And Bulgaria urgently needs investment, that's clear, like you do, like in Romania. We have a huge, very high unemployment rate, especially in young people. They are the sort of unique places where time has stopped. But at the same time, in Bulgaria, we have top players like world-class mining companies. Do you know about that? Yes or no will work. Yes, we have one of the biggest copper mine on the Balkan Peninsula, and those guys there are implementing practices similar to the mining companies in Canada, Australia, Chile. If you go there, we had made this experiment. The air in the mine, which is an open copper pit, like it's a hole, huge hole, the air there is much nicer and cleaner than the air in a production for textile. So this is what we usually have in our mind, that if we say mining, we speak about devastation, ugliness. We never ever imagine things like that, right? No way. We have a bad history. And of course, I really like this slide. I'm not sure whether you see it right, but unfortunately, there are still places like that existing in the world, that miners are black workers. They are really doing such a heavy job, right? Therefore, if I ask you, would you like to work for a mine? Who would go? Now I have 0 hands. I will go there. I will go there because actually the things are different. Those pictures, they might be true somewhere, but however, in many countries, including Bulgaria, the mining business is the top sustainability one. Why? Because without the minings, we will not be able to be here. We won't be able to have our mobile phones, our digital apps that are really nice. We wouldn't be able to do almost nothing. And it's true. So in Bulgaria, we have these representatives of a mine need people who are really aware about the environment, about the society, about the people. So this company, they, although the economical crisis, because mining is needed everywhere, like copper is needed really everywhere, in medicines to as I told you, phones and etc. So they are having not bad times. Copper is still needed. And therefore, they wanted to invest 60 million euro, can you imagine that, in a small city of 3,000 people to open a gold mine. This gold mine will operate minimum for 11 years. Usually, if you start digging, usually the technologies are improving every year. So probably this mine will work maybe 70, maybe 33 years. It's coming out from a research of geologists. So it will provide 700,000 euro taxes to the local budget. Not bad. And but however, in order to do all of it, we need, or our client need, the social license to operate, which means people living there should say, yes, we want that. So what is your opinion if you, or guess, you see the numbers, you know what's the perception about mine? What do you think? Were the people happy? Did they wanted to open the mine there? Yes? Yes. Why? Who says yes?
Because usually people don't think about the results of this mining company on the long term. They think about their money. I want to have this kind of company because it gives me a job and I have to eat.
Yeah, your answer is, how to say, your reasoning is really right. However, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, all the people in this small village were against any operations of any company. Yeah, you clap, but you're wrong. I'll tell you now why. They were saying, mine is bad thing, like this thing. And we don't want to have such operations here in our beautiful city with beautiful nature and with clean air and so on. 2 years ago, there was another junior mining company that was doing their services, just making some researches, what is the quantity of gold, but they never ever talk with their stakeholders, which was the real problem. Because actually mining is something very sustainable. There is no single mining engineer or mining executive officer, or maybe there are some, but most of them are always thinking ahead in the future. Like we have companies, this company in Bulgaria is right now thinking for what they're going to do when they close the open copper pit. And this is the picture of what they're going to do after 50 years. This is how they're going to make it like a good facility when they stop the mine, what sort of job places they will provide to their people. How many of your partners do think what they're going to do after 50 years? They can, if they go bankrupt, there is a legislation for the cultivation of their activities, and they're paying every year a huge amount of money so that the government or the country to take care of environmental impact. But usually it's very difficult to get into bankruptcy if you're a mining company. So this is the place where they collect their dirty waters. I know that people usually imagine that the dirty waters of the mining is in a place where if a bird goes nearby, it dies. You see what is it here? It's green, it's grass. And this is what they also did. They're working a lot in order to provide really good quality of social life, of standard of life in the city they are working. And they want to do that in the small 3,000 citizen city in Bulgaria. This is also something that I wanted to show you. This is a still operating heap, or the waste deposit. This is where the stone is collected. And it's unique because they're still piling up, but here they already have a forest and tree and grass. So in order to open the gold mine, 2 years ago I told you the people were against, they were having some signatures, some protests, demonstrations, and the junior mining company was kicked out, and then the Bulgarian mining company bought the licenses, technical licenses, in order to make the researches and to open the mine. And they did a very smart move as well. They hired Denkstatt to help them with stakeholder engagement, but in a way that really we have dialogue with the local people and understand what's the problem. The gold mine that was supposed to open there is under the earth, so no major environmental impact. And it's going to be done according to the best or most appropriate technological solutions, no cyanides, because people are really scared about that. So we took the best practices about good stakeholder engagement. We worked according to standards like A8000, like standards of international financing organizations, although that our client is financing it by their own budget. They are not involving financial institutions. We had a lot of meetings, individual, with 2 people, with 10 people, with 15 people, on different topics, explaining again and again what is going to be the project about. We brought them to the current operations of the mine, because it's one thing to say something. It's very different to see it. We have listened many promises like for years, and we don't trust anything. Even if we see it, we still don't trust. But we had several visits to the open copper pit so that they can meet engineers and meet workers in the mine and to have dialogues without any restrictions with whomever they want. And we did a lot of work with the media in terms of providing information, not in terms of buying their time to write some promotional articles for us and etc. And we were very passive. I mean, we have never put any advertorial or any promoting article in the newspapers, because we wanted to be, to inform, just to inform without to influence. And do you know what's that? This is the public hearing. There is a legislation that when very serious researches are done, they need to be given to people, to the citizens, to get to know this, and then it's a huge meeting with all of them. Those are professors, doctors, etc. Those are the investors. This is me. And we had this public hearing with 100 people that came into that discussion and stayed there for 5 hours and a half in a room like that, but at the temperature near to 0 in January. So how would you comment that? What would you say? We didn't pay them. We didn't give them kebabchichi or whatever. They came there because they did care. And I have to say that it's very difficult to convince people that their opinion do matter and that their question or that their concern will be treated accordingly with respect and with dignity to whatever they say. I think it's a huge, huge, huge achievement that we had 600 people out of 3,000 in that city that came there and asked questions for the future of their city, for the future of what their children will have and what probably their grandchildren will have as well. Because in Bulgaria, for example, I've been 2 weeks ago in Sofia. Sofia is a big city, like 1 million people. And there was a project for 1 million levs, or 500 euro, about integrated plan for reconstruction and development of the city. Very important for all of us. There were 40 people in the room. And here, we had 600. So how that happened, of course, a lot of work in advance. Denkstatt has done environmental and social impact assessment and has consulted our client how to manage their activities in such a way that is the lowest possible environmental impact and lowest possible bad social influence. So we had a socioeconomic analysis that was presented to many people in an understandable way. This is very important because people in the small cities, they're not very highly educated. It's very difficult to understand what those professors and professionals are speaking. And they are even having difficulties in understanding what is socioeconomic. And I'm not kidding, and maybe you know that this is like this in the outside of the big cities. So we managed to present it and to convey this information in an understandable way. We have, of course, done our homework. We kept the best class standards in stakeholder engagement. We did analysis, mapping, strategy, plan, of course. And what we also did was really extensive, non-stop coaching of our client. It was very funny because they said, I don't know why we are having you Denkstatt here. All of the time we're paying you, and at the same time you're always asking us to do things that are really teasing us. We don't need to do that according to the law, but you are pushing us to do more and more, to make another step and another step in order to have really good quality stakeholder engagement. They said, yes, you're paying us, we're teasing you, but you see we have a really good result at the end. So I was asked to say what were the lessons out of the whole story. And actually, yes, we had a lot of challenges. One is the horror stories, like mine is a bad word, as you know already. Actually, there were some people, local business people, that were spreading rumors that if this new company comes, they will ruin everything. As you said, they will not think about the future of environmental damages and so on, which is quite a bad thing if you have not get the information before that. Also, we had, how to say, there was a business niche in Bulgaria for some NGOs to blackmail companies. And I don't want to say that all of the green NGOs are like that, but some of them are like this. And they're giving contracts or proposals to companies that they will not disturb their operations if the companies do pay them, which I believe is a very bad practice. So public authorities, the second challenge is that they're without opinion. Because some of the representatives there said, this is my opinion, but in front of the public I will never say it, because next year, after the elections, I need to have my job too. So it's difficult to fight with such an argument. Post-communist society, no leaders, no driver, lots of fear about everything. And unstable economy, you know that transparency is something dangerous. If a company could be transparent, then somebody else might hit it really hard. So we needed to work in such a context. The other huge problem was that sustainability is something that is not known. Probably some people do know about this in Sofia, but in small cities, sustainability is a buzzword. What's that? Something new, but maybe scary. So Bulgarian society is learning. We have huge achievements in that area and very good examples already, but in the small cities or villages, you need to work a lot. And sustainability is usually perceived like a dark, dark, dark green, which means do not touch anything, which then is not development, because we as humans will stop to develop if you don't touch anything. People don't want to change. This is really, really difficult, because even that people are living poor and miserable life, they have used to do that for the last year, so they don't want to change. And I'm very sad to say that, but it's like that. In this small particular village, it's like that. It's not the whole Bulgaria. My friends do want to change, but there we had this, for me, ununderstandable. Like they have 150 euro salary per month, and that's fine. After the work, they go and have a beer. Or they say they have finished like only school, not like 8th degree, and they say, well, it's too late for me to learn. I'm already 25. I cannot go to school, which is, I cannot understand that. So another big problem was the partnership with media, because in Bulgaria, or in that case, we had some doubts about what are the intentions behind the media to cooperate with us or just to take information from us. So they had a questionable level of objectivity and questionable competency to comment. I can tell you that still there are some articles that are saying that this company there is Canadian or Australian, and that the mining will destroy the heap there. Like, it's under the ground, but they still will destroy the forest. So completely wrong. And another thing that I told you was the lack of common language. Professors, also very well educated, quite rare, are capable to convey their message in an understandable way for people in such villages, and not only in such villages. For us, it was difficult to give them advice because in Bulgaria, maybe in Romania as well, authority is something very important. If you have a professor or an engineer in front of your name, no feedback is allowed, especially from a person like me. You know, I don't have 50, 60, my hair is still not gray, and I dare to give them advice how to communicate. Very bad. And something that maybe wouldn't be well accepted, but it's also part of the reality. Sometimes stakeholders really mean and unfair. There were some people going and scaring other people and telling them that if they even speak with us, even that we don't want to influence, we just want to inform, they will lose their job, they will not be financed, and so on, which is completely wrong again. So people, yeah, because of this, some people were really afraid to even take the brochures with information. And another thing is that there is a habit to receive sponsorship. So whenever we went to take any conversation with somebody, most of the cases we get at the end of the story, well, would you give me 100 left, or would you come and refurbish our office and so on? And we're talking about an investment project idea, which still is not operating. So, again, but the most biggest problem that I would say is that people don't have hope, and people don't trust that they do matter. And this is really, really scary. You see that our elections right now, we had elections on Sunday, there were less than 30% voting. But we are the people who need to bring the sustainability and CSR and responsible practices on place. This is my last slide, Dragos. So what I would say are the main words you should keep into mind when doing stakeholder engagement. As my colleague said before, that it's not a project, it's a process, definitely, and you need a lot of patience because it's an evolution. You cannot have a quick win. Not at all. You need to have a persistence. Without the structure and the system, it would be very difficult to achieve your goal, to inform people and to engage them in a dialogue with you. And of course, it's about people. And then you need to deal with them. As I like very much these associations, that people are like black box. You never know what will came out from whatever get into the black box. So, thank you very much. I hope that it was interesting, challenging, provoking. And if you have any questions, these are my contacts. You're welcome to contact me.